Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Dan Studios, where we bring you the latest news in a short and informative format, and of course in the comfort of a studio. Now, in order to comply with the government's wishes, we here at Dan Studios have decided to self-isolate and to work from home, which is why, as everybody can see, we are still recording this show in my living room and not in the studio. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, there are certainly a few different things we will be talking about, but let's start off with the most important one of them all. For those who watched last weekend's episode, the audience should know that over the weekend here in Victoria, we had our very own Black Lives Matter protest. And by the look of things, it was actually a very nice, very peaceful protest. Around 10,000 people marched through the Melbourne CBD, rallying in a show of solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Good evening. More than 10,000 people have marched through Melbourne CBD, rallying in a peaceful show of solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement. Despite pleas to stay home, protesters vented their anger at police, but no arrests were made. Dougal Beattie begins our coverage.
A defiant march through the city centre. More than 10,000 Victorians united and demanding change.
We've had family and friends dying in custody. It's not fair.
Masked but refusing to be silenced.
No justice, no peace!
The demonstrators had been threatened with fines and arrest, all amid the risk of coronavirus.
I'm willing to risk my health so that another black person isn't killed in custody.
Protesters shoulder to shoulder as they walk down Bourke Street, they're kneeling, a symbol of racial injustice. Demonstrators venting their anger and frustration at police, calling on officers to show solidarity. Despite orders to stay home in the middle of a pandemic, protesters turned out in their thousands for a movement sweeping the world. Though urged to maintain social distance, the crowd funneled together down city streets, shrugging off fears of COVID-19.
The virus doesn't discriminate, but the cops do. So
Police weren't taking any chances either. Hundreds of officers monitored a crowd outside State Parliament. The speakers remembered more than 430 Indigenous lives lost in police custody over the past 3 decades.
It took the murder of George Floyd, an African-American man, to put the spotlight on Australia's shame.
Then pausing for a minute's silence.
Now, despite the many pleas to stay at home and to prevent the spread of the coronavirus, it's good to see that the Melbourne community is able to all come together for such a serious matter at such a devastating time. Seeing all the reports and the videos, it seems that the police here in Melbourne were also in full support. You had police officers marching along with the crowd, as well as chatting and talking to those who were in the protest as well. It's a very rare moment to see everyone from all different backgrounds and communities come together for a extremely important and collective purpose. Now, however, not all of the personnel were in full support of the actual protest happening. This is, of course, not saying in any way that they don't actually support the Black Lives Matter movement. It's just that these people or these health officials are more afraid of the potential second wave of coronavirus infections, which actually could put tens and thousands of lives in danger, even if there was just one person in the entire crowd who had the virus. The virus spreads so quickly that we wouldn't even know who actually had it first. Now, the police have said that they will fine the Melbourne Black Lives Matters rally organisers $1,652 each for breaching the directions of the Chief Health Officer. But, this is a bit unfair, don't you reckon? It's a bit ridiculous to fine some people for organising an event that is trying to show the injustices in this world, only for the authorities to hand out more fines. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem that the authorities, they're just putting their powers to an advantage, is what I think. I think for the authorities to show full support on the people, it's just to let them do this protest. It's a really important protest to show the injustices of different people in power using their power in an injustice way against us regular folks. So I support those people who actually organized the Black Matters rally. They did say they were going to contest against the fine. If you do, I'm here for you. I'll contest for you. I have zero say, but you have my support. Now, in other marching news, the famous Phillip Island Penguin Parade is actually officially back in action, in business. allowing tourists to finally be able to make a day trip down to the famous travel destinations to witness these kawaii penguins make their way home. Kawaii!
Phillip Island's world-famous Penguin Parade is back in business. As Alan Rascal discovered, the lovable larrikins continued their daily waddle during lockdown, but without audiences.
Penguins on parade. The little fellas have been putting on a private show during lockdown, and while their parade continued during COVID, what was different was no human audience as they waddle their way up the beach to their burrows. And according to those in the know, the penguin numbers have never been bigger.
They have really been missing their human friends. I think they are little show-offs. I do think that they love to have people watching as they walk. So, yeah, I really think they're going to be excited to see people again.
Like all other businesses around the globe, the world-famous attraction was not immune to shutdown. The parade closed to visitors for a record 73 days. Our feathery friends perhaps equally eager to see their human friends.
They might show us a bit more of their character, or we might just appreciate a bit more of their character having not seen them for so long.
So now is a great time to grab the family and waddle down to Phillip Island to see our beloved critters. You know, they only allow for 100 people at a time, so it's best to book. It's a perfect day to get away from the daily lives in the city and see some actual nature, some wildlife happening. It's great. And also supports our domestic travel, regional travel, you know, economy. Because we all know travel is a bit limited these days. You can't go overseas. So the best thing you can do is travel within your own country. And there's places I bet you and I haven't seen, even though we've lived in this country our entire lives. So as a constant reminder, I would like to remind everyone that the coronavirus is still a serious issue. We should be compliant with what the government is asking us, as social distancing is the best weapon against the virus. We need to be understanding that the next couple of months will be tough. They seem to be a bit tougher now that the Black Lives Matter protests are going on, but that is our way to fight for a better way of life, for us to live in the true freedom that each one of us actually deserve. Now, remember to avoid crowded areas if you can. Always maintain a good level of hygiene. Always remember to wash your hands. Use disinfectant with face masks if you need to. Please remember to subscribe, punch that like button, and share our content, as we are just getting started off our railroad to head to the light, head to the better way of life, to provide everyone with the greatest news possible, and of course, in a lighthearted and comedic way, because that's what we are all about. Now, I'm your host, Dan. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.